Welcome and join us on our journey as we interview everyday people and ask them that very question of who am I?
Who am I? Who am I?
Who am I? So my name is Jondeisha, will not insert all of my middle names, Hall. I'm also known as JD. I am 31 years old and I am from Nassau, Bahamas, but I was born and raised in South Florida. I am a TV producer. Whew. It depends on what part we start at. But I was a little bit unsure in college of what it was that I actually really wanted to do. There were a lot of things and conflicting views in my head. There were family members that thought that I needed to do a particular subject or go into a particular interest. So I was a bit confused when it came to what I wanted to do in school. So that ranged from psychology, which were like general interests, to like medicine at one point, again, influenced by family and stuff. And then after my mom passed, I kind of went on a journey where I was just like, it's time for me to figure out what it is I really want to do. And I think the baseline, I got an opportunity with a school and I was still unsure at that point. So I went with something that I thought was pretty baseline, which would have been business management at that point. Either way, went to the school, started that process, went into my first speech class. And in that class, I met my professor and first mentor, Brad Case. And after giving my first initial speech in class, he pulled me to the side and wanted to meet me after class. And he said to me, "What's your major?" I said, "Business management." And he was like, "Why?" I was like, "Well, I'm technically kind of still undecided." He was like, "Great. We're going to the admissions office. We're changing your major to communications." And it kind of went crazy from there. And it was just a long journey of different things, different experiences, radio, TV exposure, screenwriting, all of these things kind of opened up my world as to what it is that I could potentially do. If I had to, if I had to say my greatest accomplishment is probably coming into myself as an individual. It's not an accolade. It's not a particular moment in particular, but it's just kind of like, I call it coming home to myself. I'm, like I said, 31. And the thing is, I've had so many things in my upbringing where it just influenced me in different ways. And I think because there were so many voices around me at that time telling me what I should and shouldn't be doing, it made me a bit conflicted. And that same journey that I told you about initially of like me trying to decide a major was a lot more, it was affecting a lot more than my academia. It kind of affected me as a person. So I was still finding myself. And I think my greatest accomplishment to this date is probably the feeling of coming home to myself. And I think I'm still learning so much more, and there's so much more to find out about myself, but I am very, very proud of the accomplishment of where I am today, because it's a long way from the 6-year-old that I was interested in TV and not understanding how it works. Biggest regrets. I think my biggest regrets are the things that I didn't say. The things that I didn't do out of fear. The things that I didn't say to people that I may have loved, that hurt me in particular ways. Giving myself that kind of like healing within itself, just giving myself a level of closure. And I think a lot of times in those situations, you don't necessarily have to have closure. But I think there's just a level of peace that kind of comes with just getting it all out, if that makes sense. So I want to say any regret, if any, that I do have, it's just the things that I just didn't say. I was having a conversation with a friend earlier, and I talked about one of the things that I have been putting into practice within the last year or so. And I think because we come from a small island nation, culturally, we get so caught up in the immediate. And I want to say that the best piece of advice I can give right now is the one that I'm living within right now, which is zoom out. There is so much more, so much better, so much brighter, and just bigger things out there for you. And you You can't get caught up in what's directly in front of your face if you want so much more for yourself. What is a hot take I have? I have a lot of hot takes. I have a lot of, what is a hot take of mine? Is it an unpopular opinion? I feel like people is claim this in the general public, but they do the complete opposite. Y'all, please marry people that like y'all. Because I don't feel like a lot of people like the people that they're with. And I think people are so concerned about being married and being attached to somebody that they don't genuinely check to see if they actually like the person. So if I could think of something off the top, I would say from a relationship aspect, marry people who you like. So I am, like I said, a TV producer. So I work for Our News and Our TV. So most of the time you can find me weekly. Any work that I'm doing in particular in that capacity is On the Record with Jerome Sawyer, a little plug for him. And the weekend news. So just support our TV and our news, because at some point I'm going to have my hand in it. There are multiple other projects, but there are things that are cooking. So keep an eye out on them. On a personal note, I am still also a producer in, I guess, web series realm as well. So I do have a YouTube web series called Gapseed, or the Gapseed Room. Yes, and so every other year is kind of when I drop, but in there we have a lot of controversial conversations, and I think you get a lot more of my hot takes in there. And other than that, just kind of keep an eye out for me. I'm just know it's JD on everything on socials, and there are some big things that I am cooking up over the next year and change. And as far for final thoughts, create. You are needed, you are necessary. The work that you put your hands on is necessary. God would not have gifted you with an idea, with brilliance, with skill, if it were not to bring something to life. It is a purest demonstration of gratitude to create when God gives you inspiration.
If you like what you saw, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and join us on our journey as we create more content on our way to getting our first play button.